Hey, welcome to this week's episode of Ask the Instructor. I'm John Chrismo, and this show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate. We're doing some exam prep math today, so for those of you guys who want to brush up on your math, make sure you get those 10 math questions on your exam correct, or maybe you just want to understand this a little bit for when you see it in the real world. Make sure you're tuned in today. We've got a great show for you. Can't wait to help you with this math. I'm John Chrismo. You're watching Ask the Instructor.
You are watching
Ask the Instructor. Every Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern Time. I'm John Chrismo. You're watching Ask the Instructor. Hey, welcome to this week's episode of Ask the Instructor. I'm John Chrismo, and the show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate. If you're interested in starting or enhancing your real estate career, visit tampaschool.com. Or maybe you're watching this video to help prepare yourself for the exam. Make sure you check out our recommended strategy to pass your exams on your first try at passfirsttry.com, where we have all of our exam prep tools available as well. Or better yet, just give us a call at phone number 813-928-0106. We're here to help you guys with any questions you have and assist you in any way it is that we can. So what we're talking about today is special assessments. So special assessments. Oh, and it would help if we could see that on here. There we go. So special assessments. Now, what a special assessment is basically is some sort of one-time tax. That's really what a special assessment is. It's a one-time tax on top of your normal property taxes. But the reason why you would incur such a one-time tax, typically, and this is usually how you see it on your exam as well, for paving or repaving, either paving or repaving a road that is a city or county road. So let's say we've got this road running through this neighborhood here. Previously unpaved, but maybe us and our neighbors, we petition the city to pave this road in front of our property. And the city agrees to do so, but they're not footing the entire bill for this, and that's where the special assessment comes in. So with this special assessment, we've got our street here, two sides of the street, something that's going to be important for the exam purposes. We'll talk about why. And let's say we're going to start off with a real basic one here with an interior lot. That would be our interior lot right there. Interior lot meaning that there's only one side touching the street. That's what an interior lot is. We also have the cul-de-sac lots, we have the T lots, the flag lots, all that other stuff. But this is really probably as going to show on your exam and our most basic calculation for this year. So what we're going to try to find out is how much it cost to pave this little portion of the road in front of our property. How much does it cost to pave that portion of the road? Now notice, again, we've got two halves of the road. We only want to pay for this segment in front of our property, directly in front of our property. It doesn't matter if there's somebody who lives across the street from us, or if there's two different people that live across the street from us, or however it's broken up for these people, because these people over here, they'd have their own special assessments for each one of these segments. But we don't care about this. We're looking for our portion. That's what's important for your exam, the portion that's in front of your property. Now, it's going to give you the frontage of the property, and let's say that this property is, let's say 200 feet of frontage. So we've got 200 feet of frontage, 200 feet that's touching the street. That's the front, the curb of our property, or what's soon to be the curb once this road is paved in front of our property, 200 feet that touches the street. So that's the length of this red area that we're trying to find. Now, with these special assessment questions, they're typically given to you with a cost per linear foot. A cost per linear foot. Not square feet. If it was square feet, we'd have to worry about calculating area of the road and all kinds of things like that. But these are usually given to you just as cost per linear foot, which means 1 foot, 2 foot. We'd have 200 linear feet in front of us here, going across like that. And now the other thing you want to pay attention to, so you do need the dollar cost per square feet. You also want to pay attention to what portion the city is going to pay out of this. And let's say in this case here that the city is going to pay 30%. And this could also be the county if it's the same exact type of question or scenario, if this is the county or whoever it is that's paying for that. But whatever government entity is paying for that, it's going to give you this information in the question. You've got your frontage of 200 feet, the cost per square foot, and then how much the city pays, which in this case we said is going to be 30%. And then the question, like I said, is going to give you the cost per square foot. So let's say in this case it's $50 per square foot. And this is all going to be given to you in the question, minus the picture, minus the diagram. It will not give you any pictures or diagrams on any of your exams. All of your real estate license exams, the class and the state, are all text-based. There's no visual elements or anything like that. This is just here for example purposes to help you better understand what it is that you're doing. Now, if you feel the need to draw this out and it's going to help you better understand how to do this problem or how to go through these steps for it here, then by all means draw this out on your scratch paper, but this will not be given to you on the exam, this diagram. But this information that we've got here so far, the $50 a square foot, 30% of the city pays, and 200 linear feet, that's all going to be given to you on the exam. So now let's go ahead and do the math to solve this to find out, okay, how much is it going to cost to pave this portion of the street in front of our property? So first and foremost, we're going to find the total cost, and this is going to be for the entire street. For both sides of the street, not minusing out the 30% that the city is going to pay. And there's a few different ways you can go about doing this. The order of operations is pretty standard for this here, so you could really kind of mix this up in a lot of different ways and solve it. But whichever way it is that you go about solving any math questions that you want to be able to solve on the exam, pick one method that works and stick with that one method that works. If you like a certain method for solving out these math questions and that makes sense to you, own that method. Be perfect with that method. If you try to practice 10, 20 different methods of solving this, or even 2 or 3 different, if you try to remember 2 different ways to solve these math problems, it's going to be impossible almost to just remember one of them. You only need to remember one. You don't need 2 different ways to know how to solve these. You just need one way to find the answer to these questions. So, method that I recommend, and this usually makes the most sense, is number 1, we're finding the total paving cost. So the total paving cost is 200 feet times $50. So we've got 200 feet that's touching the street. That's our frontage, 200 feet. And we've got $50. So we're just going to multiply that out, and it's going to be about, is that 10,000? Yeah, $10,000. So our total paving cost is $10,000 in this case. It's going to make our math real easy now with this $10,000 number here. So that's how much it's cost to pave this entire area in the green, meaning both sides of the street, our half of the street as well as whoever lives on the other side, their half of the street as well. And at this point, you could take out that other half. That's okay. But you could also go through and figure out, okay, well, what is the owner's share? And I say owner's share with S plural at the end, because we're still calculating with both sides of the street. We haven't divided by 2 yet. That's something you're going to have to remember in the end. And a quick tip for your exam is your exam typically won't tell you, remember to divide by 2 for the other owner on the other side of the street. I know your textbook might have did that in the examples walking you through this, trying to help you understand how to solve this. But on the state exam, on your class exam even, it's not going to tell you to divide by 2. That's something you're going to have to remember. Keep up here. You always divide by 2. You always assume that you're only paying for your half of the street and there's somebody else paying for their half of the street. So our owner share is going to be this $10,000. And what we're going to do, if we're going to multiply this by 70%. The reason why we're multiplying by 70% is 30% is what the city pays. 70% is what the owners have to pay. They both add up to 100%, so 30% for the city, 70% for our owner share. So in order to find the owner share, we're just going to multiply this by 0.70, by 70%. So 10,000 times 70% gives us a nice easy $7,000. So we've got $7,000 is our owner shares. That's how much it's cost to pave the entire portion of the street here. And then finally, we need our share for just our half of the street. And all we got to do for that is just divide this by 2. 7,000 divided by 2 gives us $3,500. And that would be our special assessment. This little shaded area in the red here, $3,500 would be the cost to pave our half of the street. So not too bad. You see at first, oh, $10,000. God, how am I going to get $10,000 to pay for this paving of the street in front of me? Well, we petitioned the city, and we've got the city to agree to pay 30% of that, so that already kicks us down to $7,000. And then we've got whoever lives on the other side of the street responsible for their $3,500. And with the way special assessments work, this isn't so much that you have to worry about, oh, will they pay it? No, that's not your problem. It's the tax collector that's going to bill them on their next year's taxes. Or maybe they might even do this before. They might bill this in advance before they actually go through here and actually do any of this work. So they might bill it that way. For all you guys that are just tuning in here, I see a surge that we've got in the viewers going in. We're talking today about special assessments, and I think if you're watching on our Success Center or YouTube, there's actually a little bit of a DVR feature where you could actually rewind back to the beginning if you missed some of this stuff here. What we were doing is just going through and solving out a basic special assessment problem with an interior lot. So this is about as simple it is as they come. And this is probably how you're going to see it on your exam, although there are ways they could further complicate this. This could be for a corner lot, which we're going to be covering. This could be for more odd types of shapes and things like that. We're going to take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, we're going to work on solving out some of these more complex special assessment questions, including the corner lot, which could also show up on your exam. So definitely stick with us. We'll be back in less than 2 minutes. I'm John Chrismo. You're watching Ask the Instructor. Are you thinking about a career in real estate? Hey, I'm John Chrismo with the Tampa School of Real Estate, and we've helped thousands of people just like you obtain their real estate license. If you're thinking about a career in real estate, give us a call. The phone number is 813-928-0106. Our advisors are standing by to answer any questions you have and assist you in any way they can.
Do you want to incorporate studying for your real estate exams into your busy schedule? Now you can review the key topics you need to know to pass your class and state exams with our MP3 audio review. Simply pop in your headphones or connect to your car to reinforce crucial information while you exercise or drive. Listen to the first unit for free at mp3audioreview.com. That's mp3audioreview.com. Does your current career allow for unlimited income potential? With a career in real estate, the sky is the limit. What you put in is what you get out. Find out more about how you can tap into the unlimited income potential of a career in real estate at tampaschool.com.
Hey, if you're enjoying the show today, which I'm sure you are, be sure to hit like, subscribe, post your comments, share with your friends and family. Thank you guys so much for watching.
You are watching
Ask the Instructor. Every Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern Time. I'm John Chrismo. You're watching Ask the Instructor. Hey, welcome back to this week's episode of Ask the Instructor. I'm John Chrismo, and this show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate. And what we're doing today is some real gung-ho, down-to-it exam prep. And what are we charging for this exam prep? You know, watching our video. That's it. These are topics that absolutely could show up on your real estate exam that you need to know and that we're here to cover for you free of charge. Now, we've got a lot of other great exam prep tools that are even more condensed and more to the point than what we do on these weekly broadcasts, and make sure you check those out at passfirsttry.com. That's passfirsttry.com. We've got all kinds of great exam prep tools there, from our MP3 audio review to our exam question simulator, which is really helpful for getting ready to see if you're truly ready for your exam, and also our weekend prep classes, great for building your confidence. So check that all out at passfirsttry.com. You'll see the link down below. Of course, after you come in and find out and watch this whole video today about all the exam prep that we're doing here. So if you're just tuning in, before we went on break, we were covering a basic special assessment. This basic special assessment is, okay, we've got 200 feet here that touches the street. It's $50 per square foot, and the city's paying for 30%. That's the information you're extracting out of the question. then when we got down to the math here, first we found the total paving cost. The total cost to pave the entire street, that's what's in the green right here, is $10,000. It's 200 feet times $50 a linear foot, so that's $10,000 it costs total. The owner's share is 70%. The city's paying 30%, so what's left over out of 100% is 70%. So the owners are having to pay 70% of this paving cost, so that makes our owner's share $7,000. But you remember that's plural because that's both sides of the street. We still always have to remember to divide by 2 to get our half of the street, and that makes it $3,500. Now, like I was talking about before they get on break, this is a very likely way of how they could ask this on the exam, but they could also ask about a corner lot. And if they're asking about a corner lot, let's go ahead and free up some space here. If they're asking about a corner lot, it's going to be a little bit different about how we're going to go about solving this problem. So let's start off and really kind of just visualize out. Because once you start to visualize this, this actually gets pretty easy. And like I said, on your exam, you're not going to have any visuals. You're just going to have complex, wordy types of questions. And it's your job to visualize this in your mind or visualize it on paper to understand what type of math it is you need to do. So we've got our street here. And one of our streets, because remember, this is going to be a corner lot that we're doing now. Those of you guys tuning in, make sure you go back and watch the replay after the broadcast. It's going to be available on the same page here to see what that interior lot is at the beginning. And we'll probably have a time to do another interior lot, one that's maybe a little bit more complex towards the end of the hour here. So for our corner street, our corner lot, there's our two streets. And now here is our lot. And in your question, it's going to give you the two dimensions of this lot. It's going to say something like, let's do in this case here, 170 by 230. So 170 by 230. And what that tells you is one side is 170, the other side is 230. Now, despite that they are going to give this to you probably with this little x in the middle, which normal math tells you to multiply those together, you're not going to multiply those two together here. Definitely don't want to multiply, because if you're multiplying, you're finding the square footage of the lot, which is irrelevant for figuring out what our special assessment is. So we don't want to find out that. So what we need to calculate out, basically, is going to be two sets of special exemptions. And now this is going to be a little bit different in the real world for how this kind of breaks down here, because we kind of got this odd shape to it here. But basically, we're just going to leave out this aspect of it here. Because with the way that they bill this, you're going to be billed based on these areas. This little box here that's kind of touching your property, we're not worrying about that. So that one we do not need to worry about. We're just visualizing basically these two little rectangles here. And this is the basic assumption for the special assessment. So like I said, you don't know some of the more technical parts of this stuff. This is going to be difficult, and this is going to really throw you for a loop on your exam. This is a super easy question when you know what steps it is that you have to take to solve this, but without knowing those, that makes it difficult. So ultimately, we could do this two different ways. We could do this as two separate calculations for each street here, just like we did in the first 15 minutes, or we could kind of fast forward and make this a little bit easier, which I'm sure you're going to want to do. And again, we're not multiplying these two dimensions by each other, we're adding them together. So 170 and 230, that's going to give us 400 linear feet. So between these two streets here that we've got on either side of our property, and this is again if they were dealing with a corner lot. And how do you know if it's a corner lot? It'll specifically say in your exam question that this is a corner lot. A corner lot has been assessed for a paving assessment, something along those lines, but it'll tell you if it's a corner lot. Even if they give you two dimensions like this, which they'll almost always give you two dimensions, only assume it's a corner lot if it says it's a corner lot. If it doesn't say it's a corner lot, it's not a corner lot. So that's your quick little check right there. And we'll go through and do another interior lot one where it's going to give you both dimensions, and I'll show what you need to remember with that. But for now, let's focus on this corner lot one we've got here. So let's say now that the paving cost, and again, this is going to be given to you in the question, is, let's say, $40 a linear foot. So it'll say that in the question, it costs $40 per foot for paving. And then it'll also tell you that the city pays, let's say in this case, it's 40%. So that information is going to be given to you. Everything that's in black here, that's all given to you in the question, as well as the fact that we're dealing with a corner lot. So that's all going to be in the question. It's going to say, okay, you have a corner lot, 170 feet by 230 feet. But remember, we're not multiplying these together. We're adding these two together. We're finding the perimeter that's touching the street. So we're finding the total of these two sides of the lot here that's touching the street. We end up with a total of 400 feet. That's the first math it is we're doing on our own. The 170 plus the 230, that gives us 400 linear feet. And then we've got also in the question $40 per foot for paving, and the city pays 40%. So now when we're going to be doing the math on this here, we'll first find our total paving cost. And what you want to remember with total paving cost, again going back to our visual here, and remember on your exam you don't have the visuals, so it's going to be your own made up visual if you're using any at all, and that's why it's so important to understand what you're dealing with here. We're going to be finding the paving assessment for this entire thing. And we want just what's in red. Everything that's in green is what we're going to be actually calculating in this first step. So our total paving cost is going to be 400 feet times $40 per foot. So 400 feet times $40 per linear foot, that should give us $16,000. My mental math is correct. So $16,000 is our total paving cost. That's how much it costs to pave these green areas here, both sides of the street. But now before we take out our half of the street, because like I said, you want to try to keep your tracks and your formulas and the steps you take to solve these questions as similar and as duplicate as possible. Because you start rearranging the order of these steps, you start mixing up, okay, I'll do this here. So in one question, I'll divide by 2 at the end. The other question, I'll divide by 2 at the beginning. If you follow these different formulas, there's a lot of different ways to solve this. Order of operations, we can mix this up in a lot of different orders and still end up with the same answer. But you want to practice one way, and this is the way I recommend. Number 1, finding the total paving cost. Number 2, we want to take out the city's portion of this. The city's paying 40%. So remember with our little pie charts here, so if the city's paying 40% out of 100%, that means the owners have to pay 60%. So in this case now we're going to take that 16,000 and multiply it by 0.60, which is 60% as a decimal, and that's going to give us our owner's share, which with a quick little swipe of our handy dandy calculator, 16,000 times 0.6 gives us $9,600. So we've got $9,600, and this is the owner's share. But key thing that you want to remember here, this is the owner's share. Both sides of the streets. Remember, we're still dealing with both sides of the street. So 9,600, we're going to take this and divide this by 2. That's our last step, and that's going to give us our share of the special assessment. So 9,600 divided by 2 gives us $4,800. And that is our final answer. Now, like I said, that $4,800 is after we divide by 2. You're probably going to see $9,600 as an answer choice. You'll probably see 40% of $16,000, which is what, about $6,400. You'll probably see that as an answer choice as well, just to see if you know that you need the 60% and not the 40%. They also might have 16,000 as an answer choice. And what's also important here is you have to remember that divided by 2, that remember you're only dealing with your half of the street, isn't going to be in the exam questions. That's something that you're going to assume, unless the question says, which I've never heard from anyone I've ever talked to taking the exam, that they've seen something like this. unless it says you have to pay for both sides of the street, or you have to pay for the entire portion of the street, or something along those lines. Don't even know how they would really word it because, like I said, I've never heard of it before. That's the only time you would have to pay for both sides, and you would not divide it by 2, and 9,600 would be our answer, because then we're paying for the entire green area. But in this case here, we'll do this in blue, this is our neighbors. Our people are across the street neighbors that have to pay for what's in blue on here. We're paying for what's in red. That's what we did the calculation for, which gives us $4,800. And that's for each of these two. And the other way you could have done this as well, if you don't want to have to remember to add together those two frontages that we have here, the 170 and the 230, then you could have just figured this out, did that same math for 170 feet, did the same math for 230 feet, added those two together, and you would have also ended up with 4,800. So like I said, there's a few different ways you could go through solving these, but just know one method that you know that works, and remember those steps, because it's a lot easier to remember one method than it is to remember 2 or 3 different methods for actually solving this out. And that's when we're dealing with a corner lot. Now, I do also want to go back to the interior lot and show you maybe a little bit more likely how they're going to show this on the exam with these different dimensions that are in here. It's a little bit more complex than that corner lot that we were dealing with in the first segment. But before we do that, we're going to take a quick commercial break. I got to grab a drink of water here. We'll be back in less than 2 minutes. I'm John Chrismo. You're watching Ask the Instructor. Are you thinking about a career in real estate? Hey, I'm John Chrismo with the Tampa School of Real Estate, and we've helped thousands of people just like you obtain their real estate license. If you're thinking about a career in real estate, give us a call. The phone number is 813-928-0106. Our advisors are standing by to answer any questions you have and assist you in any way they can.
Do you want to incorporate studying for your real estate exams into your busy schedule? Now you can review the key topics you need to know to pass your class and state exams with our MP3 audio review. Simply pop in your headphones or connect to your car to reinforce crucial information while you exercise or drive. Listen to the first unit for free at mp3audioreview.com. That's mp3audioreview.com. Does your current career allow for unlimited income potential? With a career in real estate, the sky is the limit. What you put in is what you get out. Find out more about how you can tap into the unlimited income potential of a career in real estate at tampaschool.com.
Hey, if you're enjoying the show today, which I'm sure you are, be sure to hit like, subscribe, post your comments, share with your friends and family. Thank you guys so much for watching.
You are watching
Ask the Instructor. Every Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern Time. I'm John Chrismo. You're watching Ask the Instructor. Hey, welcome back to this week's episode of Ask the Instructor. I'm John Chrismo, and this show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate. If you're interested in starting or enhancing your real estate career, make sure you check out the link below, tampaschool.com. Also, check out our recommended strategy to pass your class and state exams on the first try. That's available at passfirsttry.com, as well as all of our other study tools to help you pass your real estate exams on the first try. That's our goal. We want you guys to be successful and get a real estate license, even if you didn't take your real estate license classes with us. We want you to see how great we are and how much we care about our students and come back to us for post-licensing. But hey, you got to be successful in the real estate industry to want to stay in the real estate industry. And that's why you also want to subscribe to our YouTube channel, our Success Center, tampaschool.com/success, because not only do we do these exam prep videos on Wednesdays, every Wednesday live at 12 noon Eastern Time, we do Ask the Instructor. We do that live where you get live chat and questions. On Fridays, we have another live show that specifically helps you jumpstart your real estate business, to take your real estate business to the next level, to learn about things from marketing to listing appointments to closing buyers quickly, and all these topics that are going to help you actually make some money out in the real estate industry. And that's also available completely free of charge. Just tune in on Fridays at tampaschool.com/success. That's tampaschool.com/success. You can also subscribe to us on YouTube. We're not actually broadcasting on Facebook today because Facebook is having some sort of issues. There's some sort of thing where the site is like down or something like that. But you guys could always watch us on our Success Center, tampaschool.com/success. That's the best place to go to. And also subscribe on YouTube. Our YouTube videos have over 110,000 views, so we've got something on there definitely worth watching. So before we went on break, we were talking about these corner lot special assessments. And this is probably the most complex special assessment. But now let's do another one. And this is going to be on an interior lot, but it's going to be a little bit trickier interior lot than what we did on that first 15 minutes, that first segment of this show where we did an interior lot. So the interior lots, the key thing to remember, and remember, it's only a corner lot if it says it's a corner lot. That's how you know it's a corner lot, and then you have to deal with those two different frontages that we just dealt with there. But if we're dealing again with an interior lot, so we've got just one street on our property, just along the front here. But yet in your exam questions, and I've seen this before on the exam, you want to remember, let me show you. So how it might show on the exam is, let's say that it'll say that the lot is, we'll say 250 by 130. So that actually would look probably more like a lot if we're going to draw that a little bit more to scale. Something like that, a little bit more rectangular. But that's how they're going to word that on the exam typically. And this is, like I said, what I've heard from a lot of students that have taken the exam, is it'll say the lot is 250 feet by 130 feet. And now you'll pick out through reading through the question, it doesn't mention that we're dealing with a corner lot. So we know that we're not dealing with a corner lot, but now which dimension is our frontage feet? And that's the tricky part of this. But what you want to remember, this first number is your front number. That's your frontage. First is frontage. F and F. First number is frontage. First is frontage. Now, if the exam specifically says you have 250 feet of frontage, you don't have to remember this little rule here. But if it doesn't say, and it's likely not to say, the first number is the frontage number. So what we're dealing with for this is 250 feet that is touching the street. 250 feet that's touching the street. 130 feet is our depth, but that's not touching the street. So we don't need that. And like I said, this is why you want to be schooled and understand these formulas and how to solve these questions, because if you see in the question where it says 250 by 130, putting that little x in there, and that's how they typically will put this in these word-based questions, 250 x 130. Not knowing how to solve these questions, you're plagued to think, okay, we're going to take 200 feet and multiply it by 130 so we get the square footage of this lot. And if you're just trying to, wing your way through this without really knowing what the formula is to solve these, or not even the formula, what the steps are, I'd rather just call them the steps to solve this type of question, you're likely to do that and fall victim to the trap it is that they put in there. Like I said, when you know what you're doing, this is a very easy calculation to solve. So we've got 200 feet here that's actually touching the street. And what we're finding for our special assessment is just that 250 feet section of our half of the street. And again, in the question, it's going to give you a couple pieces of information. Let's say in this case it is, let's say it's a little bit more expensive. It's $90 a square feet, or $90 a linear feet. We're not dealing with any square numbers with this. Everything's just linear, and that's what makes these really simple, but very likely to be overcomplicated if you're not confident of what these steps are to solve this out. So we've got 90 feet of linear frontage on our property, and it's also going to tell you in the question that, let's say it's $60 in this case a foot. So we've got $60 per foot. Actually, no. How much the city pays of this? Forgot we already gave you the footage here. So let's say that the city pays 25% in this case. So the benefit of showing your work like we're doing here on the screen, because you do something stupid like I did and write two different dollar amounts per foot, you'll be like, wait a minute, I can't have two different dollar amounts. So all the benefit. If you do that in your head, you're very likely to make these mistakes. So we've got 250 feet of frontage, it's $90 a foot, and the city pays 25%. So first what we need to find is our total paving cost. Our total paving cost. And this is, like I said, 250 feet. And we're going to multiply that by $90 per linear foot. Each foot costs $90, so we've got 90, 180, 270, and so on and so forth until we get to 250. So we're just going to multiply 250 times 90. Plug that in our calculator, 250 times 90. And we get $22,500. So we've got $22,500 is the total paving cost, but remember, that's for both sides of the street. The entire street here, which includes this green section, which is what our neighbors have to pay for. We don't really care about what our neighbors have to pay for. We're concerned with what ours is, our red section. It's not even what we're concerned with. That's what the exam's concerned with. That's what the exam wants you to find, is what is that red section there? How much is that going to cost to pave? Because we're just finding our half of the street. We don't care about both sides of the street. We just want our half. So what we're doing now is, before we figure out our half of the street, and again, you could do the half of the street now, that's okay, but again, remember one set of steps. One set of steps. Step 1, you do this. Step 2, you do that. Step 3, you do that. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Not 1, 3, 2. 1, 3, 2. 1, 2, 3. 3, 2. You mix up the order like that, and it's very difficult to remember what that order of steps are. So do it in the same order over and over again. That's crucial for making sure you could regurgitate this information on the exam. So now let's find the owner's share. And in order to find the owner's share, we've got the city that's paying for 25%, which means we're paying for 75%. But remember, owners, because it's both halves of the street, it's the entire blue section. So we're going to take that and multiply by 0.75. So 22,500 times 0.75 gives us 16,875. So 16,875 is our total owner's share. But now we want our red section, so finally our last step here is dividing this by 2. So 16,875 divided by 2 gives us our share, which is, we got a decimal with this one, $8,437.50. So that little red section there that we just went out and calculate the paving cost for, our half of the street, is $8,437.50. And that's our answer. So like I said, this is easy, but even with these easy questions, it's likely that you might maybe second guess yourself. You might try to overcomplicate this and make this more difficult than it needs to be. So with the special assessment here, remember, first thing you want to do is pull out this important information. Find, okay, here's our dimensions, but really here is the dimension that we need. We don't need that dimension because it's not a corner lot. And when you're writing this all out, you can even draw it out like we're doing here. That makes it a lot easier. Even if you don't remember these exact steps, when you know the information as you're working with and how this applies to this particular scenario here, it's actually a lot easier to solve out. We've got our $90 per foot. That's our cost. We've got the city pays 25%. That 3 pieces of information, we extract that from the question, and now we start putting these numbers together. Okay, we've got 200 feet that we need to pave here. It's $90 per foot. That gives us a total cost of $22,500. We want our 75% that is the owner's share, because the questions are not going to ask what the city pays, because what the city pays is not a special assessment. The special assessment, like I said, is the one-time tax that you're being charged for paving a street. This could also be for a sidewalk. It could be for some sort of utility line. There's a lot of different applications of special assessments in the real world, but on your exam, it's typically just like we've been going through on here, where you're paving a street in front of your property. So we're multiplying that by the 75% here to find, okay, our owner's share, how much the entire street is going to cost to pave for both sides of the street. But again, we only care about our half of the street, so we're going to divide it by 2 in the last step. But before we divide it by 2, it's 16,875. So 16,875 is the total cost here. That's 22,500 times 75%. And then finally, we divide that by 2. And that's going to give us $8,437.50, our final answer for what that paving cost of the street, our half of the street, actually is. And that's the special assessments. So like I said, you can see this isn't that difficult to solve. The steps are pretty simple for this. It's pretty straightforward. And with these simple questions, the exam's likely to kind of booby trap a little. Like I said, maybe have that in there, which is where you want to remember. If it's not a corner lot, you only want the frontage number. And the first number is your frontage number. It might make it a little bit easy on you. There's some easier questions, there's some more difficult questions, there's a mix of questions that they use for this here. So the first number would be our frontage number. And it might just say 250 feet is your frontage. If it just says you have a frontage of 250 feet, that's it. You don't have to worry about remembering the first number is the frontage number. But if they want to turn up the difficulty a little bit, like I said, that's where they might put 250 by 130. But you want to remember, okay, this isn't a corner lot, so we got to remember first is the frontage. And now what if this was a corner lot? Well, like I said, if it was a corner lot, like we did in the previous example to this one here, you're just adding these two together, 250 feet plus 130 feet. You're doing 2 different sets of special assessments, but only if it says it's a corner lot. If it's not a corner lot, that 130 feet, that's extra information that you do not need to solve for the exam. And that's why you want to be confident in how to solve this, because otherwise you're going to wonder why you didn't use the 130 feet here, and how does that factor in, and how do you have to use that to get the right answer. But like I said, a lot of times they're putting extra information in there. Most of the information that they're giving you is going to be important and necessary for solving the question, but a lot of times they throw a little extra something in there to really kind of throw you for a loop. But that's the special assessments. If you guys haven't already, make sure you go back and watch the original, the first part of this segment, all the way back from the beginning. The recording's available on this page as soon as we're done streaming live, because we are currently live right now from Tampa, Florida. New Tampa specifically, our administration office of the Tampa School of Real Estate. But these are available on demand, where you can record it, you can watch it over and over. If we got a little fast for you at certain points, it's completely understandable, especially when you're brand new to this, especially if you haven't taken the pre-license course yet. This is going to seem like we're speaking a different language almost, so you can go back and you can actually watch this in slow-mo on our Success Center. You can just hit the little gear icon and bump down the speed to half speed, 75% speed, 25% speed, or maybe you want me to go even faster and talk even faster and go, you could actually bump up the speed in the video as well to really kind of rock through all these videos nice and quick. So that's a neat little feature there. But also on our Success Center, we've got all kinds of great exam prep videos for you guys. That's available at tampaschool.com/success. tampaschool.com/success. If you go on there, you'll be able to find all of our exam prep videos it is that we have online. We've got, I think, over 100 videos now that are on there. You can also find these all on YouTube if you prefer to watch them on YouTube as well. If you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to our channel. We greatly appreciate it. I mean, we've got over 110,000 views on our YouTube videos, so there's definitely something there worth watching. And these videos, like I said, they're great for preparing for the exam. Sometimes we get a little bit more in depth than what you need to know for your exam on these, and that's just so you better understand some of these concepts. But today, really everything it is that we've been covering, this is all very likely to show up on your exam in the forms that we've been showing. We really haven't overcomplicated this any more than it could be on the exam. So everything we've really covered today is absolutely fair game for your class and your state exam. So this is one you want to know. We've got a lot of videos just like this. But other than that, that's all I've got for you guys today. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for liking the stream. Thank you for subscribing. And if you guys have questions about starting your real estate career or maybe some exam prep tools, make sure you call us at 813-928-0106. That's 813-928-0106. You can also visit us online at tampaschool.com and check out our recommended strategy to pass your class and state exams on the first try at passfirsttry.com. But that's all I've got for you guys today. I will see you Friday for State of Real Estate at 12 noon. But until then, have a good rest of your week. Are you thinking about a career in real estate? Hey, I'm John Christma with the Tampa School of Real Estate, and we've helped thousands of people just like you obtain their real estate license. If you're thinking about a career in real estate, give us a call. The phone number is 813-928-0106. Our advisors are standing by to answer any questions you have and assist you in any way they can.
Do you want to incorporate studying for your real estate exams into your busy schedule? Now you can review the key topics you need to know to pass your class and state exams with our MP3 audio review. Simply pop in your headphones or connect to your car to reinforce crucial information while you exercise or drive. Listen to the first unit for free at mp3audioreview.com. That's mp3audioreview.com. Does your current career allow for unlimited income potential? With a career in real estate, the sky is the limit. What you put in is what you get out. Find out more about how you can tap into the unlimited income potential of a career in real estate at tampaschool.com.
Hey, if you're enjoying the show today, which I'm sure you are, be sure to hit like, subscribe, post your comments, share with your friends and family. Thank you guys so much for watching.
You are watching
Ask the Instructor. Every Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern Time. I'm John Christmo. You're watching Ask the Instructor.